All Valorant abilities tier list. I got inspiration from Edwick, so shout out to him, and I will be judging not only of the impact of the ability, but the value in terms of creds and ult orbs. Otherwise, every ult would be like an S tier. So starting off on this is Breach's damage dealing ability, and I think it's good and can get you kills in some situations, but it's mostly just to move players or delay pushes. It only costs like 150, so it's not too bad. Kojo's Alarm Bot is a really good info ability. I rarely use the vulnerable feature, except when it's close to a storm grenade. Overall B tier, not bad. Astro Stars isn't like an ability, but it does have benefits like it can transform into anything when you place it, but if you place it too early, it's kind of predictable what you're going to do. Sage's Wall is absolutely one of the best abilities in the game. It's one of the best to delay pushes. It takes so long to break, and it's great to position yourself better. You can wall and res, and it's just so good because it's kind of like a barrier that ensures so much safety. Just knives are definitely A or S tier, great for eco rounds, but it's not like guaranteed value because you can still die to a rifle fairly easily. If you have good aim, it could be definitely deadly. Mage's Satchel isn't as good as Uranus Dismiss or Just Dash because it's not like activated instantly, but it can still be really good in combo with the ult. Phoenix's Wall isn't as good as Viper's or Astra's or Sage's, but it can still heal himself. I think it overall could be stronger. Yours Flash is basically ass. I think it's worse than KO's now because it's really hard to get the correct angle and not blind your teammates and blind the enemies. Most of the time, it's both or none. Raze's Boombot is definitely a good ability due to it being an info gatherer. You can bait it, it does damage, etc. It really makes you feel safe because if your enemy shoots at them, you can just kill them easily. Next is just Smoke. It's better than someone like Omens because it's super fast, but you can make one-ways in like every entrance. Other smokes are longer or bigger, but for entry, I think just suits her really well. Astra's Wall is great for pushing or defending site, but it's just really easy to cross the wall, so it could be a disadvantage in some scenarios. Phoenix's Flash, I mentioned in previous videos, is pretty decent, but it is short and easy. Phoenix's Flash, I mentioned in previous videos that it is short, but it's easy to use, so it's pretty decent. Surface Cage isn't long lasting, but it's great in combo with trips. It's also good for one-ways, good to just place on the spot like jets, and good to gather info because you can hear the footsteps in and out of the smoke. Omen Smoke is A tier, no explanation. All regular smokes are just going to be A tier in this video because you need it no matter what. Uranus Heal is S tier because it's just really fast, it can heal shield, and you can use it now more than ever, even if you don't get the kill. Yours ult isn't bad because it can gather info, but something like an owl drone can do most things that this ult can do. Uranus Dismiss isn't as good as Just Dash because you have to get the kill, and a lot of the times you can't pull out your gun fast enough. Other than that, it's instant, unlike Raze's Satchel, which is the main thing that counts. Uranus ult is hard to control at times, but for the most part, it's beneficial. Only problem is that it isn't guaranteed value, but it can definitely pay off, especially when you feel confident in it. Yours Footsteps has improved a lot. Still not like the ultimate ability. You can try to use the blind to your advantage or try to decoy yourself to trick the enemy, but this doesn't work towards your advantage sometimes as players often shoot the Euro anyways. Neon's walls aren't that good because yes, it is longer than Phoenix's and covers both sides of your whole team, but your team is in a thin space, which usually isn't good for like mollies and other crowd abilities. The walls also damage your teammates often. Breach's Fault Line for the most part doesn't do much. Good breaches use this super effectively and stun like every round, but most breaches have trouble getting any value from this due to its difficulty. Chaos Flash isn't good. It's easy to dodge most of the time, but at least it isn't as hard to flash teammates like yours. Breach's Blind is probably the best blind. It's almost impossible to blind teammates with almost every wall, longest lasting, and really the only ability that's holding Breach up. Chaos Grenade is hard to get kills with and doesn't last that long like Brims or Vipers for example. It does do damage quickly, so if you don't move out of it in time, it could be effective, like how Raze's Snake works. Omen's Teleport is one of the worst ults. Only good uses are for info or to pick up the spike, but other than that, it's kinda useless, as most players look spawn or heaven before you even TP. Yours Tele isn't that good, but it's still super fast. It's not as fast as Chambers, so I'll just put it on B. It also has that fake out, but that rarely tricks people. Astra's pull is great and really good in combo with mollies or gunfire, but a lot of times I get out of the pull before they even do any damage. Sky's flash is one of the best, but I still put it below breaches. You can flash anywhere and in angles impossible for most other flashes. It's hard to not flash team and get that perfect angle, but it's still great. Chamber Sheriff isn't really useful for most gun rounds, but even for pistol rounds, 8 bullets is enough for most players. I think it's worth it for Sage or pistol rounds. Sage's heal is alright, not fast, doesn't heal to 100 HP, but it still works. I think it's perfectly balanced. Neon's run is great for rotations, but other than that, it can't dodge gunfights, it can't throw off the enemy. Phoenix's molly is the worst molly in the game in terms of damage, but it's still alright for healing, but only up to 50 HP. Sova's ult is one of the best in the game. With little practice, it's easy to get a kill every time in combo with the owl drone, or if you know where someone is. Brim's molly is one of the best in stats, with the most damage and great for lineups, but it doesn't really go well with his other abilities, whereas with Viper or KJ, you almost always win in post-plan because you have other abilities to help with that molly, but Brim doesn't. Uranus Eye is one of the easiest blind abilities to use and doesn't blind your team. Only downside is that you can get shot and you can dodge it if you're too close. KJ's ult is one of the best, guaranteed value, always clear sight, great for pushing in and retaking. KJ's molly is great for setups and works with her playstyle, good for post-plan as well, and on attack. Gut combo with turret or alarm bot. Astra smoke is A, Cypher's ult is B because it can change the whole way your team positions themselves and it's really beneficial, but it isn't crazy because you can't really get kills with it exactly, and there's always a chance that the enemy team would do some reverse psychology or some shit like that. Astra Stun is mediocre at best. It does stun you, but a lot of the times I would just wait for it to stop and peek again. It can be good for you if you get the timing right. Kayo's ult is C tier because it's 7 orbs, but even if you do ult, it doesn't benefit you really. It's kinda there to make the gunfights more even. But if your whole team is rushing in or you're suppressing a lot of players at the same time, this could be really valuable. Brim's ult is great for post-plan or small areas, but it is really easy to dodge in most situations nowadays. Neon's ult is similar to Jet's because you can kill the whole entire enemy team with it, it's just how good you are with it. It's kinda hard to run super fast while aiming, but it is really frustrating to deal with it when it's an enemy Neon. Owl Drone is one of the best abilities in the game, just so much info, you get 2 darts, so much time, so much value, even more than some ults. Race's nade is good for short-term damage, but delaying pushes really isn't for this. Omen's blind is great when the team is pushing in. It can go through walls, which is its biggest bonus. You can affect so many players, but it's kinda hard to blind everyone in a large open area, like A site on Breeze for example, and something better would be Sky's Flash. Viper Smoke is B to A tier. It does damage, can do one ways, it's the biggest smoke in the game, but you only get one. And you can only place it in one area at one time. Plus it's not a really good entry smoke as you have to do a lineup or something, and it takes a while to activate. Sova's Recon is high A, low S because it's really good for info, it can scan 3 times, good with ult. Sky's heal can heal more than Sage's, but isn't as convenient as you can't pull out your gun while healing or heal across the map, but otherwise powerful than Sage's. Neon's stun is better than Breach's because I think it affects me in my games. Chambers' Tully is similar to Uranus. I still think that Chambers is more convenient because you can do it multiple times, it's faster, but Uranus is more stealthy and you can fake. Sage's res is the best, ult easily S tier, numbers advantage is the most important thing in Valorant. Phoenix's ult is guaranteed value. If you don't get a kill, you still have that info that no one is there. Even if you do get killed, your team can still bait you. Sky's ult is mid because it can get shot. It's good for info, but many players just shoot it, and that's a waste of an ult. Some Skys follow and bait their Seekers, but many players catch on and shoot the Sky before the Seeker. Silver's Shock Dart is a good ability, but harder to use than the Recon or the ult. Lineups are deadly and super good value, but most of us don't even bother because it's just such a big time commitment. Raze's ult is mid. Plays are getting better at hiding and it's still good value because you can clear areas, especially when you're entering, because players are going to back off due to fear so your team can take over. Omen's teleport isn't bad, just not used in most rounds. Can't get you out of gunfights like a dash, but good for crossing entrances or faking out your enemies. Brim's smoke is A. Sage's slows aren't as good as slow and pushes as her wall, but it's still great for most situations. It's easy to just use because you can slow like any entrance. The only problem is that people can still go through unlike the wall. Viper's Molly is the best in the game for post plant, and that alone makes it S tier. Surface Cam is great for info, has unlimited darts, which is super annoying, and some ciphers have some very good value cam spots. Brimstone is great when the team is grouped up, but not really good value when you're alone. Just Dash is S tier, best ability to get out of bad gunfights or to op. Chamber's op, but it's still hard to deal with close range gunfights. Usually it's unstoppable if you have good aim. Viper's Wall is one of the best, you can get it for free and it's one of the better ones as well. Chamber's Scout is good, but I think that KJ's Alarm Bot or Cypher's Trip work better because in combo, it's better with their other abilities those Sentinels have. Sky's Wolf is like the jack of all trades, but it doesn't do anything super well. Overall pretty decent. Cypher's Trip is great in combo with cages, so you can shoot at the enemy when they don't know where you are. It's also great when you're shooting at them and they're trying to break the trip. KJ's turret is good value all around because you do damage, you get info, and it's great for pistols. You can also bait it when it starts firing, so like when the enemy is shooting at the turret, you can peek out. Super annoying to deal with too. Just Updraft is nowhere near as good as her dash because you can't really get out of any situation with this, and it's an all around not that useful outside of getting to high areas or in combo with the ult. Rapper's Pit is great value. It can restrict pushes to one site so your whole team can rotate. It can be great for post plant and you can play around it. So many benefits, at least when you try not to die. And lastly, Chaos Knife. It's good for info, but I just think that Silvus is better. And when suppressing enemies, most of the time you won't even get it in a gunfight with them anyways. Alright guys, make some changes in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a good day.